sometimes I say that, hey, you need to manage your domain reputation to get better email open rates. They always say, why, what is that? And I have never heard anything about that. So they sometimes they don't even have the email marketing team who is responsible for email durability and email marketing.
Awesome. So welcome to Ask the Expert, Alex. And I'm thrilled to have you here. We get a lot of inbound questions on this topic, and I'm not an expert on it. So that's why we bring in people from the outside of our space to inform myself, but also our customers and our audience that really would like to know a little bit more about this particular topic. So perhaps you could do a quick intro on who you are and SH Consulting.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I'm a founder of a SH Consulting company, and we specialize on email durability improvements for the companies operating in not only real estate industry, but in technology companies, for technology companies as well. So I used to work, I'd been working for a while in the technology industry, and I was a part of the team that was responsible for email marketing and durability operations in one of the Fortune 100 company. I used to work with a top US telecommunication company, consulting with them on email durability, on lead generation, on email marketing and other stuff. So I'm pretty familiar with these types of things. I know everything about the CAN spam regulations, castle regulations regarding the email server configurations and other types of things. So
when the questions started coming in from our customers, I asked our internal team, like, gosh, I don't know anybody that you and I have not met before, and I don't know anybody that is a true expert that I would want to talk to on this subject. And it was like across the board, everyone that I asked pointed back to you, Alex, and said, oh, dude, you got to chat with Alex. He knows this stuff cold. And it's with it's people from all sorts of different CRM communities too, right? So I know folks from Follow Up Boss. You're in BombBomb and KV Core and Chime or Lofty. All these companies, there's people that are using you with them to improve deliverability.
Yeah, exactly. So I have my point of contact in almost every company, in YLab, Luxury Presence, Real Geeks, Real Scout, Follow Up Boss, of course. And I communicate with those people every time when I have clients. I have a lot of people, we have a lot of shared customers, and every time I have someone who would like me to improve the email security, email durability, or email marketing, everything needs to be done in the email server, in their DNS zone. So I communicate with their teams, with the Follow Up Boss team, with YLABA team, with Curator team, to get all of the implementations done, because this is the only way to put additional email security into their companies, because these are regulations like Google regulation. They require you to have the domain fully authenticated, and this is a part of the cybersecurity protection. So if you do not have this DKIM signature, for example, implemented in the email server, you can expect that your domain can be under the spoofing attack, under the phishing attack, and there are a lot of this happens all the time in the real estate. So I work closely with those teams to ensure that my client's email server configuration is fully secured.
That's awesome. So you're in real estate now, and you have a lot of real estate connections, and everyone supports you. How long have you been tied or hooked into sort of the real estate world? Because that obviously wasn't your background previously.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not been so long, and I've not been for a while in the real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, probably it was the year of 2022 when I first reached out by Elena Key. I'm sure you have heard of her, right?
Yes.
Elena Key. Yeah, so she reached out to me back then and told me that she experiencing some problems with email durability, and she required some help with fixing those problems with durability. And that was not something new to me, because I was working with technology companies in the past, and I was very familiar with all of these cold email outreach strategy, with email marketing strategy and something like that. So I was easily be able to access your DNS zone, the domain control panel of your domain, and do.
Why is that important? Why is it important to access the DNS
Yeah,
configuration?
actually, everything that you, if you would like to improve the email security, if you would like to improve email durability, all of those stuff needs to be done in the domain control panel in the DNS zone. DNS zone is like the email server where you need to add the sender policy framework, when you need to add the DMARC policy. This is the policy that is responsible for preventing your emails and domains from being spoofed and other types of things. So every single implementation that you would like to do with your that's responsible for improving your email durability and email marketing outcomes needs to be done in the DNS zone of your domain name.
So it's possible to do this ahead of time and to get in front of a potential problem, but how would real estate agents know that they have a deliverability problem or that they are going to be subject to potential fines or $50,000 occurrence? Like this adds up super big, it can be really bad. The pain here is significant, but they might not even know they have a problem. How would they identify that they have a problem
Yeah.
beforehand?
So there could be several different ways to identify whether the company has a problem or not. So one of the reasons is you might see the significant problems with your email durability. So for example, you open your MailChimp account or Constant Contact or even Follow-Up Boss account, and you see that your open rates are 5, 10, probably 15%. And this is indication that something is going wrong with your email server configuration,
Okay.
and probably emails are going to spam. Normally, when people send emails and when they follow email marketing best practices, their average email open rates something like 35, 40%. This is actually the average email open rate. For
I was
yeah,
like, oh God, it's going to be 60. I know I'm screwed on this.
no, this
Okay.
actually the average email open rate for the real estate industry. However, what's important to mention is if you have all the necessary implementations in your email server, if your email server is fully configured in accordance with all the email systems that send emails on behalf of your domain name, you can expect to get up to 60 or even 70% of email open rates. Considering that you do everything right in terms of email marketing best practices, that you do not use spam trigger words, that you comply with CAN spam regulations, that you monitor your IP reputation, your domain reputation. There are a lot of tools that allow you to do so. And if everything is right, you can expect definitely getting up to 70% of mail openers. This is actually the average mail opener that I currently have. I have never seen less than 80% of mail open rates on my accounts. Yeah, so
Man.
these
Okay,
types of
so I've got room for improvement, so we're going to talk afterwards. That'll be good. Um,
okay.
and obviously, it goes without saying, anybody that's watching this and has concerns or they know they have an issue, how should they reach out to you?
They can easily fill out the application form on my website, or they can just send me the direct email
Mhm.
to me, and I will definitely be able to reply.
We'll throw the URL for your website in here, but it's sh.consulting.
Yeah, it's at h.consulting. The same email is at sh.consulting.
Yeah. Okay, so in the end, agents, brokers, teams, marketing people, what they want is leads, right? And if their deliverability goes from 50% down to 8%, they're going to get fewer leads. And so this is a significant impact on their business. Is that a pretty common situation that you see?
Yes, absolutely. So moreover, I recently had a few situations with my past customers who sent me the email that the email service providers they used to use for sending emails to their companies, to their leads, they suspended their accounts because they had too poor email open rates, because the people who they send emails to did not engage with their emails too much, and this affect negatively their domain reputation, and as a result their accounts were suspended. So it's very important not only to have the proper email server configuration, but also to follow email marketing best practices. Like you need to engage with your people, with your leads. You have to get replies from them. You have to make them replying to your emails and forwarding them, and only in that case you will be able to maintain your domain reputation, your IP reputation, email trust score on a high level of performance. And if you send emails, let's say you send 1,000 of emails to your database and none of them reply to you, this damages your domain reputation. Even if people who received your email, if they even did not open your email but reply, but removed the email from their inbox, this affects negatively your domain reputation even more, because you want people to communicate with you, you want people to engage with your email. It's very important.
Does an unsubscribe also count negatively towards your overall score?
Yeah, no, to be honest, when people unsubscribe, this is like a gift for you. This is the super great thing because they did not mark your email as spam. And that's very good that they scroll down until the end of your email, found the unsubscribe button, and click that button. But what is more important, after they unsubscribe from your newsletter, is to go to your database and remove that person from all the lists, from all the platforms. So if you use Follow Boss and then you also use MailChimp and let's say SendGrid, you need to go to each platform and remove that person from the email list, because if he unsubscribed from your Follow Boss marketing campaigns, that person, it means that that person doesn't want to receive marketing emails that you send through MailChimp. And if that person will receive email from MailChimp, this can hurt your domain reputation. Or that person can mark your email as spam, and that will bring up some problems for deliverability.
That seems like a big hassle, a pain in the ass. So what is there an automated process to tie those things together, or do you have someone on your team that takes care of doing that for me? Like if it comes through MailChimp and I have to go to my CRM and I have to go to uh, yeah, SendGrid or multiple places to remove that email, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's actually what marketing manager should be responsible for. So basically, this is a here's a very common situation. I have people who are reaching out to me and they tell me, "Hey, we send the marketing campaigns through batch email, through Follow Up Boss. People unsubscribe from our newsletter, and we still want to send emails to those people. Can we sign up with MailChimp, for example, and start sending emails from that platform?" And I say that technically you can do that, but it's highly not recommended, because if they unsubscribe from the newsletter here, that means that they don't want to hear from you. So you have
Right.
to unsubscribe them from everywhere. There are a lot of people who currently have the, let's say, Follow-Up Boss integrated with SendGrid through the API connection, or they have the same integration with MailChimp. And if someone, for example, unsubscribes from your MailChimp newsletter, this means, and if your Follow-Up Boss account is API connected to that MailChimp account, that means that that person will automatically be unsubscribed from all the further communication from the
Yes.
Follow-Up. So, and that's
Yes.
good. In that case, they don't need to waste their time to manually remove that person from all lists.
Yeah, that would be tremendously helpful to have that. And um, okay, so what does the typical, like, talk about the cost benefit of kind of getting out in front of doing this now versus the cost of not doing it later, and what people are going to pay to service the thing and get it done today versus waiting and having that the entire thing blow up, or MailChimp says you can no longer send anything.
Yeah. So to be honest, if they continue sending, so we have a regulation that took effect on February 1st. And currently in February, this is a period of time when they have no problems with email durability at all. So it's something like the same they had in January, in December, in November, and before. However, starting in March, more and more emails will be either filtered into spam or being blocked if they don't have the implementations in place. So for example, if they send email through Follow Boss, and if they did not have chance to go to their domain authentication settings on Follow Boss and make the implementations of those DNS records in their DNS zone, they will see some kind of rejected emails in March. Then in April, Google will be filtering like 50% of emails that they send without those implementations in place. And in May, that will be a very big problem, because almost every single email that they will be sending, and that fails, the verification checks will be blocked by incoming email servers. So technically right now, if they don't have those implementations in place, they will not see any difference compared to what they had in January or in December.
Oh
However,
my gosh.
in April, I believe that 25% of the emails that they send will be rejected by incoming email server. And then in May, June, and if you don't have the implementation in place, that's a problem.
So these people are literally, and maybe myself included, right? We're cruising along in a boat that has holes in it already, but we haven't noticed that we're sinking, but it's going to catch up with us.
Yeah. So it's much better to get everything configured today than later, because yeah.
And so what is you probably have tiered pricing, but what does that sort of look like?
If I work with my clients, I take care not only of email server configuration and those types of implementations, but I also offer the weekly monitoring of their email durability. I monitor their email security, because this allows me to identify whether their domain names or email accounts are being under the spoofing attack or not. And I know, of course, how to prevent those types of things. I monitor their spam report complaints, and if, for example, I open the graph that shows that there were that shows their spam report complaints, and if they sent, let's say, yesterday an email marketing campaign, and a lot of people on their list marked manually their email as spam, of course they get a notification from me about that, because it's very important to keep their spam report compliance before below 0.1%. This means if you send 10,000 of emails to the list of contacts, and if more than 10 of those people manually mark your email as spam, this can bring up significant problems to your domain, to your email durability.
That's
Yeah.
not a high percentage at all. That's insane.
Exactly. So this is the part of my service. So I not only do the configuration, but I also do the monitoring of their IP reputation, domain reputation, email server configuration, and of course I advise on email marketing best practices. So how to avoid spam trigger words, how to comply with CAN spam regulations, how to make sure that your email subject line will not trigger spam filters, how to exclude the links from your email template. Even the images versus text ratio makes very important, because if you send images only, like let's say you send marketing emails, you create the template in Canva, right? You edit everything to your template and you send emails. And this can trigger spam filters, because spammers and scammers, they use images only templates to hide the phishing links under the images.
All right.
Now,
That's
this is
good.
so it's very important to maintain the ratio between text versus images. So if you have a few images, if you have text, that's good. If you have plain text only email templates, that's awesome. However, if you have images only, you can expect to end up in the spam folder of many different email services. So, and normally, so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna go ahead.
Yeah, so I have not finished. So when I work with the brokerage and with the teams, I usually charge $900 for this configuration. And also, I don't charge anything extra for the monitoring right now, but we are currently building a tool that will allow everyone to monitor the email durability, the email security, the spam report compliance rate, and then once we release the tool, that will be also an extra fee for that. Of course, for those who would like we to take care of those types of things.
I mean, $900 now versus $50,000 per instance of error in April seems like a pretty fair. Like that's a good try. I'll take that. I'll take that on.
Okay, that's good. But I want to mention that $50,000, it's not for violation of Google regulations. It's for violation the CAN spam regulations. So there are a lot of things that you need to follow. You, for example, cannot go and purchase a list of database and start sending emails to those people, because if those people have never opt in for emails from you, this violates against spam regulations. And for every single email that you send, you can be fined up to 50,000 US dollar. So if you send, let's say, 100 emails, you can expect to get a fine for $5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is against spam regulations. And actually, everyone who receives spam emails, I know that this is a significant problem in the real estate industry. A lot of people telling me that, hey, we receive a lot of spam. What we can do with that spam? You can do the two things. You can first go to your Google Workspace account and fine tune your spam filters, because there is an ability to customize your spam filtering system as long as you are a Google Workspace user. And I actually consult with that. And then another thing is you can go to the Federal Trade Commission website, because they are responsible for against spam regulations, and fill out the application for application that will include the details of a company, of a person that violated those regulations, and the appropriate actions will be taken against that company, against that person.
So the FCC is what you said. That's where that. All right.
Yeah.
So on a high level, I don't know very many people that really love spam, like getting it, right? Like I don't know folks that are like, oh yeah, I really love spams and I love getting called on my phone 37 times a day. And Nikki Haley has hit me up 100,000 times for political contributions. Those are separate anyway. Political stuff is separate, I suppose. They don't count. But these these the idea theoretically of getting rid of spam, and whether it's a text or an email or a phone call, I'm on board with, and I think a lot of people want less spam from an individual citizen standpoint, right? Is that what you're seeing also?
Yes, exactly. So just if you like to reduce the number of spam in your inbox folder, just go to the admin panel of your Google Workspace account, enter the spam filters on the search bar, and fine tune them whenever way you want.
So the government has sort of stepped in because businesses are not sort of managing it themselves, and it's getting out of control, and so they have started doing this. And in the 90s, it was the do not call list regulation, and the kind of the start of this stuff. But um, so I believe in the idea, the theory behind this, that we shouldn't be spamming people and that we shouldn't be receiving those spams. So I'm good with that. Are most people of the same mindset, or am I different there?
Yes, of course, everyone hates spam. So
Yeah.
I have people who are telling me that, hey, we received like 20 100 emails over the weekend, and we would like to get rid of all of those emails. And what is the biggest problem in the real estate industry, that most of those spam emails are coming from their brokerages firm. So if they are a part of Coldwell Banker or Keller Williams, they show me a huge amount of emails coming out from those brokerage companies to their accounts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a huge problem. The government is continuing to ratchet up the regulations on it. So we're not seeing an end in sight. In my mind, this is going to continue. They're going to ratchet it down and get it tighter and tighter and avoid more and more loopholes, so that this is something that's not going to go away, I would say. Is that correct?
yeah, it is absolutely right.
So how bad is it going to be? Will email stop being something useful, or will there be a path forward to continue using email in the future?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I have a lot of community. I participated in a lot of different communities, like email related communities, where the I would say the most clever people, email related people in the world, are writing their messages and doing some stuff. And some of them recently mentioned that probably in a couple of years, emails would be replaced with um, pop-up notification, something like that, something like we get on the phone when someone and like when someone likes a post on our Facebook account or something like that. So probably the communication, the entire email communication, will be in the future replaced with something like that. We are not entirely sure if this something like that will happen. However, there is still a chance.
Yeah.
People are not reading emails anymore. So if you
No.
send a lot of emails, a lot of text in your emails, nobody will be reading from the very first line to the very last line. You have to keep your email as short as possible. So if 2, 3 sentences is the maximum number of sentences that you would like to keep in your emails, because people just open emails, they look at it, and they close their phone, they close the tab, and that's it.
Okay, so change gears briefly. For an individual agent that is trying to do the right thing, um, obviously it seems like working with you or someone like you for spending $1,000 makes a lot of sense to get things cleaned up and point in the right direction today. But is there something they can do on their own that's going to be impactful that you would recommend, or maybe 2 or 3 things that they can do on their own that's relatively easy? I know most real estate agents we work with don't like to get super technical. So, what are the non-technical things they can start doing to avoid getting blacklisted or fines in the future?
Yeah, so the most important thing is to stop using spam trigger words in the email templates, because right now, if you send a lot of emails and if you have the words like very common words in the real estate industry, like get it now or financial or loan or dollar symbol, these are email spam trigger words. And
Triggers. Okay.
yeah, so if you send a lot of emails that contain the financial word or something like that, and people do not reply to your emails, they do not engage with your emails, this can potentially trigger spam filters on the incoming email servers. As a result, this can damage your domain reputation and your email will be filtered into the spam folder. I know that real estate people are not very tech savvy. However, what they can do, they can even without any kind of problems to get their email servers configured by themselves by going to the MailChimp documentation, for example, or to Follow Up Boss documentation, by reaching out to their Ylopo engineering team or other people and asking them what we need to do to get our email server fully aligned with your email infrastructure, because it's about the email server configuration, it's about the email infrastructure. For example, not everyone knows, but Follow Up Boss is they're awesome. But what is much more better is that they utilize the SendGrid email infrastructure on their backend. And that's very good because SendGrid is one of the most healthiest email infrastructure on the market. And to make your emails fully aligned with that email infrastructure, you need to make some kind of implementation in your DNS. So technically, you don't even need to reach out to the Follow Boss customer support. You just go to your admin panel, you just go to the domain authentication page, you see like 5 or 6 records for implementations, and you just do those implementations in your DNS zone. I know a lot of people who have done that themselves, real estate people, and some of them, of course, had problems with implementations, but technically it's not so difficult thing to do. What is much more difficult is to build, for example, a DMARC policy for your email server to prevent emails being under the spoofing attack, or to build the sender policy framework for the root domain, because that sender policy framework must include the servers and IP address of all the systems that send emails on behalf of your domain name. So this
Yeah.
is much more difficult, but the basic configuration they can do themselves without any problems.
Yeah, so there's sort of that tiered approach. Like, here's some easy tips that you can do. Well, don't send financial things. Don't use a dollar sign in your subject. Don't use solid images as a subject in the template. You mentioned earlier, add the unsubscribe if you don't already have the unsubscribe at the bottom. These are things that you can do to kind of kick the can down the road so you don't have an issue. But
Yeah.
that's a band-aid, right?
Yeah, so it's very also important to get the people who unsubscribe from your email list out of the email list, from your email campaign. Sorry, out of the email list. It's very important to monitor your spam report complaints. For example, if you utilize services like Mailgun or Mailchimp or Mandrill or SendGrid, there is always a report tab available for you. So you just simply go to the report tab of that email service provider and filter the contacts who manually mark your email as spam, because those people, they do not get out of the list automatically when they mark your email as spam. You need to do that manually. So this is something that you or your marketing manager needs to do every day to avoid those people, to avoid sending emails to those people again and again.
It seems like this should be managed on a corporate level so that, like, someone at Century 21 goes and takes care of it all, for all the Keller Williams get taken care of by by the Keller Williams Court, but that's not happening. So it's really up to, and it's not happening at the office level or the market center level, right? It's really up to the individual agent as a contractor to do this, and they are ultimately the ones that are responsible, I understand.
Yes, exactly. So then here's the thing. So as long as the agent used their brokerage email, there is not so much thing they can do with that email address. They, for example, cannot connect that brokerage email, let's say Keller Williams, KW at .com, to Follow Boss and start sending email marketing campaigns because of the cybersecurity policies on the Keller Williams domain and email servers. So basically, what they need to do is that they always need to have their personal email address on the personal domain name to be able to use third-party services for email marketing. So if you would like to connect your email with Follow Boss, of course you can connect the Keller Williams emails with Follow Boss. However, every single email will be filtered into the spam folder because of the missing PKM signature and implementation of the email server. The same with Constant Contact, MailChimp, HubSpot. So technically they can use those emails, but there will be no sense in that because every single email will be either blocked or filtered into the spam, which is why their personal domains are important. Their personal email addresses with their private domains is what they need to use because in that case they have not only the full control under their email accounts, but they also can monitor their domain reputation, your IP reputation, and many other things.
Well, so Alex, what would you want to leave our viewers with? What kind of key things should they know about, or would you want them to do besides the things that we've already talked about? Is there something else that you would kind of add to the conversation they need to be thinking about?
Yeah, so I would like to mention that if your company doesn't have a team, if you run a brokerage, small brokerage without a marketing manager inside, you definitely want to monitor your deliverability, your email open rates, your spam report complaints, and the right tools that you can use to make sure that your domain reputation is always on the higher level of performance. So, for example, you can easily go, and these tools are free, so you don't need to pay anything for those tools to use them. So you can go to the Google Postmaster tool, for example, and connect your domain with that tool. And that will show you the graph on which you will be able to see the domain reputation. If it's changing, it will go down or it will be going up. So you'll be seeing a chart with your campaigns. And every time someone marks your email as spam, you'll be seeing spikes on the chart. You can also use the tool like Microsoft SNDN, which will allow you to monitor IP reputation. You can use the tools like quick email verification, for example, which will allow you to eliminate all the fake and invalid email addresses from the database to make sure that you don't send emails
Mm,
to the email accounts that are no longer valid because people are changing companies very often. Today they work for Microsoft and in 1 month they work for Google, and if that person moves from one company to another, that email address becomes invalid, which is why you need to make sure that email address will not be in your email database, because if you send emails to the invalid email accounts and if more than 3% of your emails are bouncing back, this negatively affect your domain reputation and can make you problems with email durability. Which is why when I used to work in the technology industry, it was a rule to verify the database every 3 months because people are changing companies very often.
wow.
Yeah, so every 3 months you need to go and verify your database. Whether you have 1,000 contacts or 1 million contacts, you need to go and verify the database.
That's just not happening in our industry at all. We do data detox for people. We deduplicate. We get rid of the Bart Simpsons and this kind of nonsense from their accounts right off the top. And we had been suggesting annual database checks, and you just said, "Oh no, every 3 months is when this process really needs to be run."
Yeah, to be honest, it depends on the type of contacts in your database. I know that
Fair
most real estate agents they work with buyers and
consumers.
sellers.
Yeah. Yeah.
currently use the Gmail email addresses. So I don't think, because I personally have the Gmail address that I have created back in 2008, and I still use that Gmail
Yeah.
address. So there is no sense to verify those database of those people very often. However, if you have like corporate clients, if you have people who live their
Right.
profession, that absolutely makes sense for you to get and have the email verified.
Yeah, and it's a split in most databases. I would, from what we see, it's a split between professional email addresses and personal ones. So yeah, there's a huge need there. Alex, thank you so much for joining us on Ask the Expert today. Very informative. We obviously very much value your input and thoughts as this continues to evolve. I'm sure we'll want to have another conversation sometime in the future, maybe towards April when the stuff starts really hitting the fan.
Yeah, I hope so.
Very good. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this conversation, Chris. It was really great to participate. Thank you.